Hello, welcome to Alchemy Oracle Twin 1111. This is a backup. I have to call it backup due to channel because the content that was originated that have to be here, has been kind of shifted to the original content that I do on Alchemy Divine 333 that now has been kind of banned. Like I cannot post or do anything there. So all the content that is there is for all of y'all to continue to inform yourself. Try to see if you can share and continue exposing because there is a lot of evidence in that channel. Also a lot of truth that they don't want these oligarchs, billionaires, government, parasitic leeches. They want to uphold the systems, and all of us are trying to create more wisdom and knowledge for the collective liberation of everyone, not just some people. Okay, knowledge, gift, talents is supposed to be shared. I was editing another video that's supposed to be before this one, and all of a sudden I had to stop because I just have to meditate and ground myself because the energy is very intense. As I'm speaking right now, it's especially in Canada, and all the other areas, I'm sure this tariff thing is definitely creating disruption in our, because this tariffs, obviously this is paid by us, the working class, right? This is like literally rich boys, privilege, misogyny, obviously, bigotry, trying to decide what they're gonna do with people because they can and because they feel like it. One has a vindictive, jealousy, envious energy, and he's using billionaires to pay for his atrocities. I mean, it's basically an empire falling, right? And then we also see that Canada, the Prime Minister today has, and I know this is the energy that a lot of you, like, you're seeking for confirmation, like, I'm feeling it, okay? You're not alone in this, all right? I know that, especially right now in the USA with the whole ICE, like, deportation and stuff like that, and we're seeing those videos of families sharing like their family being taken away and stuff like that, and it's ridiculous. Like, it is diabolical and demonic because they are, like, Mexicans are the original indigenous people of North America. Yeah, I know this is gonna, the dissonance of especially white privileged people who, you are an immigrant here. Yeah, it's so weird, white people telling people like, oh, immigrants and stuff like that. I'm like, you are an immigrant here, it's you. So again, the projection and gaslighting of who they already are. So a lot of us, is that uncomfortability that we're feeling collectively. But I wanted to come here to be of service because I'm always like that. I want to be of service to my community, humanity, and that's what I've been doing. If you notice my content, it's really that. And I know it doesn't get a lot of likes and a lot of views. It's because I'm not only very truthful, but I expose a lot of things in the spiritual realm because I am a channeler, I am a seer. Sometimes, yeah, I do prophesy sometimes, and we're some of us. But a lot of us also, we give up our integrity and honesty for greed, for money. So we end up doing things that it's not okay. But because we feel like, oh, well, God got us, so who's going to be against us, right? So we use the same energy that we use to protect ourselves against ourselves. And you're not alone if you feel that you live in a system that is constantly lying, pathological lying, and conniving people, corrupt, and doing things that are not, you know, they're not of the light. And then that's the thing, it's not everything is of the light. That's what we say, that there's a lot of people who are teachers, they are educators, but they're constantly focusing on like, oh, just stay positive. You know, it's a little bit harder to tell that to someone who is literally watching their family being taken away from them. And probably they don't know where they're going. They don't know if they're gonna be back home or they're gonna put in a concentration prison camp. And God knows what they're gonna do with them there. It's very strange, the love and light energy. This is why a lot of you, I'm attracting this energy to heal, because I want to help you get back into alignment to heal. Don't get distorted in that energy. The energy of like, oh, just stay positive. Oh, it's too negative right now. You know, at the end of the day, I feel like a lot of us, you know, the most positive thing that you can do is go outside and protest. Educate your community, educate yourself. That's the positive that I think. It's not just bypassing, the spiritual bypassing and they're trying to ignore and try to like, oh, it's not happening to me, so it's not. No. This is why you know, we need to go back to center. Okay. So I was looking for answers, just like I'm doing my prayers and meditation. I wanted to be of service, and I asked God, how can I be of service, God? So he started guiding me to pull out some decks that I haven't used in a while, and even my rooms were very, very charged. And then this card popped out, okay? Yeah, so a lot of us, the 222 energy today is a portal, right? A very interesting portal. If a lot of you have been saying that 222 a lot, I definitely can confirm that as well. But it says infinite mind, okay? Awakening in consciousness. There is that class consciousness. There is the awakening consciousness that happened for some people on October 7th. Other people have class consciousness for 77 years ago. Others in Sudan and Congo who have been reporting what's going on, they have their own awakening as class consciousness as well. So it is coming in stages, okay? But right now we are seeing empires fall. And when it falls, is because obviously oligarchs and billionaires have been trying to infiltrate into, trying to take power on things that has nothing to do with them. And at the end of the day, they should not exist, and they know it. They are parasitic, not only for humanity, but our planet, and it's obvious, okay? I do have a couple videos that I want to show you here, because I didn't want to add it. It was too many videos on the other message. But this is something that we need to like think about and focus on, okay? And reflect, okay? And then see what we can do with any new information that we're getting, right? Especially when it comes from the Most High, and this is videos that he had guided me to post on this video. Make sure that you like and comment and share and subscribe to the new channel for now, you know, until I can get back. Or you can subscribe on the other channel. Maybe that will help take away the ban. I don't know. But thank you so much for being here, for allowing me to guide you into this journey, because decolonization and class consciousness and environmental science and land back movements, a lot of what's going on, it's not easy to go through alone. That's why Father God wants us to stick together, work together. And I'm here to, as a healer and a seer, I do have multiple gifts, and I want to just share and help as much as I can. So I hope it does help you. So make sure that you also like and comment the videos that are shared. Help the creators who created the videos. They're gonna have their little handles. You're gonna see them on the side. So if you can go on your Instagram or TikTok or any of the platforms to share their content as well, like their content, so you can help them with their algorithm. I will gladly appreciate that as well. Okay, so here you go.
A surprising amount of Americans don't realize that the United States practically stole all of this land from Mexico. So here's that story. In the mid-1800s, the United States was busy expanding its territory westward and started bumping into the recently independent country of Mexico, which at the time wanted a way for their country to become more economically productive. They started renting out huge plots of land to American settlers in this region you might have heard of, called Texas. As Americans settled the land, they brought slaves with them, which were totally illegal in Mexico at the time. As the Mexican government tried to crack down on these settlers for breaking the law, these people responded by fighting a war with the Mexican government, which they won, and then declared themselves as their own independent country, the Republic of Texas. Mexico acknowledged Texas as independent, but the government disputed where the location of this border was. A few years after its independence, Texas was annexed by the United States, which was still looking westward for land to take over. How did the U.S. gain the rest of this land from Mexico? The then President of the United States, James K. Polk, was obsessed with gaining California from Mexico. So, we sent Mexico a $20 million offer to purchase the land, but Mexico declined this offer. In response, the U.S. hatched a pretty shady plan. Polk sent American soldiers into the disputed region in Texas, where they were shot at and captured by the Mexican army. He used this event as a rallying cry for the United States Congress to declare war against Mexico. The United States, being the more powerful of the two, easily won this war. They paid Mexico $15 million, and Mexico reluctantly gave up all of this land to the United States. In a matter of less than 20 years, Mexico lost more than half of its territory to the United States.
يا الله خلص فجروا مضل شيء يا الله راح المخيم يا ولدي
فكع فجر الله أكبر فجر المخيم الله أكبر فجر الشارع كامل على فكرة يا جماعة الخير فجروا المخيم الله أكبر حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل فكع فكع الله أكبر فجر المخيم الله أكبر فجر الشارع كامل على فكرة يا جماعة الخير فجروا المخيم الله أكبر حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل
Israelis invaded somebody else's territory. They took people's homes, and they did many of the things that the Nazis did to the Jews, and now they're really doing it. Right. Now they really are. You can't be more evil than what they're doing. They are doing evil that is just as great as what the Nazis did, and in some ways it's worse because they kind of boast about it.
Right.
Hitler had the decency to try to keep it secret.
Right.
For some reason, Hitler didn't want people to know he was doing these things to the Jews. It was a secret. The Israelis are almost proud of it and don't keep it a secret. And it's demonically evil. It is. Yeah. You can't be more evil. And anybody who doesn't recognize that it's evil, I can't probably communicate with that person. I don't know how, that might be temporary insanity. I can imagine that some Israelis who are today in support of what their country is doing in Gaza or in the West Bank even, some of them might in 10 years wake up and say, why did I justify that? I shouldn't have. I don't know. If you don't see that it's evil to do those things to other human beings, then you're in a different universe from me. I don't know how to communicate with you. Yeah, I mean, it would be easier for them if all of the people who hate them were dead. I mean, that'd be easier for them. And I think that's what a lot of them are thinking. And of course, they must consciously or unconsciously know that every single day they are making the hatred increase. And the hatred level is something we can't imagine, probably. What a Palestinian feels is something you and I can barely imagine. But, you know.
And then they pretend it's because of anti-Semitism as opposed to what they're doing to Palestinians.
So I think that myth is going to fade away because the whole world knows that this is evil. The whole world knows that they are starving people, preventing children from getting medicine on purpose, and bombing hospitals. I mean, you can't do worse. And I think the whole world, unfortunately, knows it. And it's crazy what they're doing. Of course, it's crazy because if they don't kill every single Palestinian, imagine the rage that any Palestinian would feel. And I do think it's absurd in a way, even in talking about the horrible attack on October the 7th on the Israelis. I mean, it's a little absurd to pretend that came out of nowhere. Obviously, the Palestinians have been horribly, horribly treated, you know, from the 1948, and you know they've been horribly mistreated through no fault of their own, really.
Do you want to hear the funniest part about Elon Musk's little "my heart goes out to you" salute? Is that the world's outrage didn't really account for anything. Because guess what happened in response to all of that? They nominated him for the fucking Nobel Peace Prize for free speech. Yes, that is where the world is at right now. That "my heart goes out to you" is considered free speech. Despite everybody thinking that it is completely inappropriate that he did that, there's nobody talking about him not being able to get the Nobel Peace Prize. Nobody is outraged about this. I remember when Bassan got nominated for the Emmys, and there were just hundreds of people that were signing petitions to get her taken off the Emmy nomination list. Nobody's saying shit about Elon Musk. Reports are coming out that he has actually turned down this offer, but that's not the fucking point. The point is that somebody who regularly elicits violence against marginalized communities is getting put on a pedestal, and we are gaslit by these political leaders. You know, I was starting to think that this was an American problem, but now I'm seeing that this is a worldwide issue. Everywhere. The EU has completely failed. We are going into global fascism. And for the record, we all know that that is not a sustainable way of living. And maybe it's just my FYP, maybe I'm not seeing it because the algorithms suppress all of the protests that are happening across the world in support of American citizens for our fascist government coming to power. Oh, holy hell. Here we go. 2025. Downhill, no brakes. I gotta get back to work.
It's going to be an information-packed video, but I urge everybody to watch till the end because it's important for us to be aware of the world that we inhabit. A UAE-based defense technology conglomerate just announced that they'll be investing $10 million in Israeli arms company Third Eye Systems in exchange for a 30% stake in the company. The Emirati state-owned company Edge also announced that they'll be investing an additional $12 million to establish a joint venture with the Israeli company. Now, high tech has been described as the economic engine of Israel, of which a significant proportion is cybersecurity. In 2024, while the rest of the country's economy shrunk by 1.4%, high-tech grew in GDP by 2.2%. High-tech constitutes 20% of Israel's GDP and accounts for over half of their exports. Third Eye Systems, which specializes in AI-driven drone detection and supplies the Israeli military as well as several defense bodies in NATO member countries, saw its stock surge by 26% on the Tel Aviv Stock Exchange following the announcement of the deal. In fact, since the beginning of the so-called conflict, the company has seen its stock price increase by 51%. This is not odd. Anthony Lowenstein, the author of the Palestine Laboratory, says the following. In every war against Gaza, a range of weapons and surveillance tech has been deployed against the Palestinians, which is then marketed and sold to huge amounts of nations around the world. While Israel is like the 15th largest importer of weapons in the world, it has become the 9th largest exporter of arms. Israel's arms sales have doubled in the last decade. In 2017, it was estimated that Israel was behind nearly 2/3 of all UAV exports in the previous 3 decades. It's not accidental that Israel has turned the Holy Land into a giant weapons factory. This rapidly developing industry can be seen in a couple of ways. One, as an insurance policy. Two, as a bargaining chip. It's an insurance policy for Israel to insulate themselves against mounting pressure over their behavior with regards to the occupation and now the genocide. Just yesterday, representatives from 9 nations, Belize, Bolivia, Colombia, Cuba, Honduras, Malaysia, Namibia, Senegal, and South Africa, collectively known as the Hague Group, convened in The Hague to coordinate legal, diplomatic, and economic measures against Israel's violations of international law. So in response to the inevitable isolation of Israel, both by state actors and by private companies that are increasingly divesting in Israel, Israel has made itself an industry leader in weapons technology. It is also a bargaining chip to use in negotiations with other regimes. An estimated 130 countries have bought weapons, drones, and cyber spying technology from Israel. The UAE, Bahrain, and Morocco, which normalized relations with Israel in the 2020 Abraham Accords, accounted for 24% of the arms purchases in 2022. So when they speak about the Abraham Accords and they speak about normalization with Israel, it has nothing to do with peace and it has nothing to do with human rights, and it has everything to do with despotic regimes allying with the fascists in Israel to oppress their own populations in what is an increasingly militarized world. Now, I say all this to make the point that all forms of oppression are interconnected, and the genocide in Sudan should be enough to make us already be boycotting the UAE. The UAE has been providing business, finance, logistics, and PR support to the RSF in addition to arming them. Human Rights Watch suggested that the RSF has committed widespread war crimes, crimes against humanity, ethnic cleansing, and potentially genocide. And there have been widespread reports of sexual violence being used as a weapon of war. The SAF has also committed its share of war crimes, indiscriminately bombing civilian areas, arresting, torturing, and killing civilians. And they have also faced accusations of using sexual violence. The UAE is perhaps the foreign power that is most invested in the destruction of Sudan. It is the primary importer of Sudan's gold and is said to have multi-billion-dollar plans to develop ports along Sudan's Red Sea coast. The cost of this is paid by the Sudanese civilian population. The International Rescue Committee said that the people of Sudan are facing the largest ever recorded humanitarian crisis. 11 million people are displaced, with another 3 million people having fled the country, making it the world's largest and fastest displacement crisis. 25 million people are facing acute food insecurity. 17 to 19 million children are being kept out of school. 7 million people are at risk of gender-based and sexual violence. 75% of the country's health infrastructure has collapsed. It is the same interests in the UAE that are facilitating the genocide in Sudan and have been using Sudanese fighters in the conflict in Yemen since 2015 and are benefiting from ripping apart Sudan, who are greenlighting the business deal with the state-owned arms company with the Israelis. Like I said, all forms of oppression are interconnected, and we're in a moment where there's a heightened awareness of collective liberation and of transnational solidarity between causes, where we understand that we refuse to tier the humanity of people based on some arbitrary labels that somebody placed on them. With that said, these are issues that require a state level, if not a multi-state level response to alleviate these conditions. That's not something that is in our control, but what we can do is we can empower and enable and join with Sudanese folks on the ground that are providing assistance and providing relief in real time. One of these is something I've spoken about before. With Saving El Janena, we have a field clinic that is set up in Adre refugee camp where there are 260,000 Sudanese refugees. This clinic treats 35 to 75 patients daily, 6 days of the week, and we're trying to better equip the clinic so that it can become a solid first point of health care for folks in the camp. The running costs alone for this clinic are $15,000 per month, so getting this additional equipment is just not an option unless we step up. These folks are working with minimal equipment to provide healthcare to people who have fled their homes in neighboring Sudan, and we still have a shortfall of about 6,000. We want to equip them with an oxygen nebulizer, an ultrasound machine, CBC, glucometer, AC, and we want to build them an operating room because, believe it or not, they are doing operations in this refugee camp. We don't know how long this situation is going to persist, so it's important for us to equip the folks in this camp to have solid health care in as much as is possible for us to do. In addition to this, of course, boycott the UAE, support the efforts of the Hague Group, support the efforts of Hind Rajab Foundation, and look out for these connections between these forms of oppression and how we can materially assist folks on the ground, but also ideologically be oriented to where we are simultaneously opposing all forms of oppression and are moving in ways that are grounded in a collective liberation. If you made it this far in the video and you want to support Saving Al Janina's clinic in Adre Camp, the link is on my link tree. Give whatever you can, leave the comment collective liberation, and of course, spread that link to everyone that you can. None of what we've accomplished so far would have been possible without you and your giant hearts. I'm highly appreciative. Thank you. I love you, and keep working.
Have you ever wondered who owns the UFC? You better buckle up for this. I'm just gonna read very mainstream sources and I'm gonna let you fill in the blanks. And don't worry, it won't be hard to do. So in case we're not clear, we're talking about the UFC, the biggest mixed martial arts fighting promotion in the world. They are owned by TKO Group Holdings, which is owned by Endeavor Group Holdings. And the CEO of TKO Group is Ari Emanuel. And he is also the CEO of Endeavor, the bigger company, along with Patrick Whitesell, the executive chairman. But I guess his name is probably pronounced Ari Emanuel because it's Jewish, not Mexican. His father, Jerusalem-born Benjamin Emanuel, was a pediatrician who was in the Irgun, a Zionist paramilitary group that operated in mandatory Palestine during the 30s and 40s. And just to clarify, paramilitary group means terrorist organization. And just to clarify, that is not my definition or Hamas's definition or Palestinians' definitions. That is literally the Israeli government's definition. In 1948, they outlawed the Irgun and Lehi groups, declaring them terrorist organizations. Basically, everyone inside and outside of Jewish worlds called them terrorists and strongly condemned them. Here's a list of the bombings that they were responsible for. So anyways, his dad was a Zionist terrorist from back when Israel was being formed. And now he runs the UFC. Well, he owns the UFC. Dana White runs it. But that is just the start of this. Because he has two brothers. This one was Obama's White House chief of staff after years in senior positions in the Clinton administration. But there's another one. This one works at the Center for American Progress, the Wharton School, Harvard, and the NIH. But don't worry, the deep state is not real. Oh yeah, and President Joe Biden named him one of the 16 members of the COVID-19 advisory board. All three of those guys, their dad was an Israeli terrorist that even the Israeli government outlawed because their terrorist acts were so fucked up. Like bombing civilians. Literally. But wait! There's more! Because both Ari and his buddy Patrick, who are in charge of that other whole organization in charge of the UFC, they are also both in charge of IMG. They are co-CEOs. IMG is like a sports and media company. They have a whole entertainment and modeling division, including Miss Teen USA, Miss Universe. What does that remind me of? Yeah, you remember Epstein's pimp, Jean-Luc Brunel, who hung himself right before Epstein was all coming out? He allegedly procured more than 1,000 women and girls for Epstein. One of IMG's top representatives described him as a coked-out misogynistic pig from day one. Whew! Thank goodness. I'm glad that IMG is not involved with Jeffrey Epstein. Oh, except for this article where a bunch of survivors told their stories, and this one said that she worked for IMG. She told IMG what he was doing to her over in France or wherever she was, and IMG was like, oh, that's cool, whatever, no problem. And then they continued to send girls to him. Yeah, so IMG worked with him. And IMG doesn't just do modeling. No. Here is all the sports leagues and events that they work with. There's the UFC. They do modeling, consulting, events, like the Premier League, the highest level of English football, like the PGA of America, like the United States Tennis Association. They've got figure skating. They got motorsports. Shit, they've even got the world's strongest man in the US Open of surfing. Are you getting the picture yet? These three brothers, whose dad was a Zionist terrorist, have been top dogs at the Clinton White House, the Obama White House, the Biden COVID response. They control the UFC, a huge amount of the modeling industry, a huge amount of the tennis, golf, all sorts of sports, soccer, rugby. There are quite literal ties to Epstein. And don't get me wrong, I love MMA. I love watching the UFC. But just think about culture. Think about gladiators. Think about Rome. Think about all the other industries we've recently learned have weird ties to sexual blackmail rings. Think about modeling. Think about how young boys and girls grow up in America. And if you're on TikTok, think about downloading this video right now, because it's not going to last very long. And when it goes away, you can find it on the other platforms. Yeah, so that's who owns the UFC.
There'll be many people in Tel Aviv, in settlers, for example, who would think, no, that's not going to leave us safe. That's not going to leave us and our children secure. So how do you change hearts and minds there?
Well, it's not our job to change Israeli hearts and minds. What we need to do is address the root issue. And the root concern is the ethnic cleansing of Palestine. Israelis might enjoy peace and security, but it's predicated on the very simple notion of continued Palestinian oppression. Zionism, as it's manifested itself, was a Jewish homeland, but that Jewish homeland didn't come for free or at no cost. This Jewish homeland came at the expense of Palestinians. It came at the oppression of Palestinians, and it came at the continued devastation of Palestine and the Palestinian people. Nobody has the right to do that. And Zionism, as it's manifested itself, must be corrected. So Israelis feeling that Palestinian self-determination and Palestinian hopes are predicated on Israeli safety is just an absurd notion. Palestinians have a right to be safe. The Israelis have to end the occupation, and they have to end this supremacist notion that they are a chosen people and that they have the sole right to the Holy Land. All of Abraham's children have a right to that land from the river to the sea. It's called Palestine, and everyone should be free there, not just Jewish people.
I mean, you say that, but if you don't engage with Israeli people who think that, surely you have no chance of ending the oppression. If you don't explain to them and talk to them about other points of view, how are they supposed to step outside their own existence and their own understanding of the world and appreciate these other opinions? Surely as an advocate, you have to engage with Israelis on this.
Respectfully, a country can't perpetuate a genocide like we've seen. The nuclear-armed state, with a defense minister that said he is dealing with human animals, that a country of 7 million people can cut off the food, gas, electricity and water to a captive 2 million people and think that we are equal or that we are human. There is nothing a Palestinian can do to make a Zionist or an Israeli feel safe and secure. The world needs to engage in the dismantling of this supremacist ideology. In South Africa, we saw a white supremacist ideology that enjoyed all of the fruits and comforts that Israel enjoys today. Civil society all over the world said, you can't have a system where one people, based purely on the colour of their skin, oppresses another. Well, in this situation inside Palestine, we have one people who celebrate God on a different day, having all the rights, oppressing another people simply because they celebrate their God on a different day. On Friday as Muslims or on Sunday as Christians. We have to end that. And what needs to happen is the world has to create the situation where, just like in apartheid South Africa, suddenly whites went, we are excluded from the world, we cannot participate in sporting events, nobody's doing any trade with us. We have to reform our system. And just as all of the apartheid supporters in South Africa suddenly believed in equal rights, so too, when forced to, when isolated, when diplomatically and economically isolated, Zionists will give up this supremacist ideology. No Palestinian that's oppressed under the boot of an Israeli occupier is able to convince the person in that boot to take the boot off their throat. We need the goodwill and good efforts of the international community to push that foot off our throats. And I would add that whilst Palestinians might be under that boot of oppression, the Israeli that's in that boot is also trapped. They might think they're free, but they're not free. They are not free. Palestinians will resist and will fight for their right to self-determination, as they should and must.
All right, Nasser Mashni from the Australia-Palestine Advocacy Network, thank you so much.
We turn now to Mississippi, where 6 white former police officers who called themselves the Goon Squad have pleaded guilty to raiding a home and torturing 2 black men earlier this year. after first trying to cover up their actions. Some of the officers face life in prison. On January 24th, court records show the deputies raided a home in Braxton, Mississippi, after a white neighbor of one of the officers called them to complain there were black men staying there. The officer texted the others, quote, "Are y'all available for a mission?" That night, without a warrant, the officers burst into the home, handcuffed, beat, tasered the two men, Michael Corey Jenkins and Eddie Terrell Parker. Also sexually abused them with a sex toy with shouting racial slurs. One of the officers put a gun in Jenkins' mouth for a mock execution and pulled the trigger. The bullet lacerated Jenkins' tongue, broke his jaw, exited through his neck.
So everything with the FAA literally comes back to this. SpaceX Starship explodes in flight test, forcing airlines to divert. Basically, one of Ellen's rockets exploded on a test run and was so disastrous that it disrupted FAA air traffic control and flight patterns. And this happened on January 17th. Pay attention to this date. It's very important because 3 days later, the FAA director is fired. A day after, air traffic control hiring freeze. A day after, Aviation Safety Advisory Committee is disbanded. And the advisory committee and the FAA director is who is responsible for the investigation into that explosion and what or who caused it. And in fact, the FAA already investigated SpaceX like 2 years ago for unsafe practices, and Ellen freaked out about it and threatened to sue the FAA over that investigation. And after another one of his colossal failures, his orange boyfriend fires everybody who would be responsible for holding him accountable for that explosion. And we've already seen the significant damage from all of these things happening with the Black Hawk and commercial airline collision. And then just today, another small airplane crashed into a residential neighborhood in Philadelphia. So the American people are paying to cover up for Ellen's failure at playing astronaut.
Okay, so I already saw that this is going to be a little lengthy, so bear with me, okay? So thank you for being here. Make sure you like and comment and share, okay? So others like yourself can able to find this, all right? Padre nuestro que estás en el cielo, santificado sea tu nombre, venga a nosotros tu reino. Hágase tu voluntad en la tierra como en el cielo. Danos hoy nuestro pan de cada día y perdona nuestras ofensas, como también nosotros perdonamos a los que nos ofenden. No nos deje caer en la tentación, mas líbranos del mal. Amen. That's just my Jesus prayer to protect myself and to protect your energy. Protect all of us, you know. And also, I've been getting some weird ass energy on my hair, so just in case. Yeah, so a lot of you, that's another sign of spiritual warfare, someone doing some type of siphoning or energy stealing. It's like your hair comes off a lot. It's not just, well, it could be also vitamin C, lack of vitamin C, vitamin D and stuff like that, but hair is sacred. So I do create a lot of natural ways to maintain it so it stops falling so much. And now I pray over it. So for a lot of you, if you've been experiencing that, that's something that you can do, because our hair is sacred, just like our bodies, okay? So yeah, so what I was saying is that, sorry for the light, I don't know if this will make it better. I don't know, it's getting a little darker now, but I'm trying, I don't know. I didn't find the plug for this, so. It's not about me, it's not about the light. Some of you, that's it. It could be someone trying to dim your lights, you know. For some of us, that's why we put some filters, because, you know. I did being, when I go in my meditation and prayer, I do cry a lot, so could be that. A lot of us feel the exhaustion. You're not alone. I feel it too. So anyways, let's type in. Let's see what Spirit wants to say. The first card is that it's like, it's a lot of confirmation about the whole, you know, awakening in class consciousness. And then there's these other decks that came up as well. These two were like separate from it. Yeah. So the Book of Shadow. So a lot of you this is what they're using in the background. These warlocks, witches, dark energy, very dark. The Book of Shadows. For a lot of you, it's like that Wicked movie, like, you know how she's able to read it, nobody else can read it. A lot of you can read the Book of Shadows. For all of y'all, is tarot. And I know a lot of these oligarchs don't want you to know. This is why they watch a lot of tarot readers, at least the good ones. The ones that are complicit and conforming to capitalism and stuff like that, they're glad that they're on the YouTube, distracted people and not creating ways for them to, you know, get out of the status quo and really, really see the secrets, right? That is revealed on all-time high. It's just that a lot of other readers are really good at pretending that they know what they're doing, just for the sake of the views and the likes and stuff like that. This is why I don't do, one of the reasons I don't do personal reading is because, and not only that, it's because I like to do a screening before I interact with another person and do their reading, but also I like to get to know them, so I can, you know, understand, do the discernment myself, like, okay, what should they know, what they need to know, and what we should not be telling, you know. That's why on the YouTube it's very there's no one kind of like censoring you in a way, you know, except God. When you're connected to God, he will tell you like, no, don't talk about that, and you can talk about this, and ignore that, ignore this. So it depends, but right now there's a lot of sellouts, unfortunately. But then again, there's a lot of other ones that they don't give a shit, right? They're willing to expose the truth. And yeah, for some of us, yeah, we are rare. And so if you want to keep us here, make sure that you like, comment, and share, and subscribe, and you let the algorithm in the channel that you want truth, that you don't want to be distracted anymore, that you want collective liberation for everybody, not for some people. And also that too, I am revealing a lot of, you know, and that's just it, like the Book of Shadows also, the revelation of, I feel like a lot of you need to write down, I know I'm working on that too, but work on books. I know I'm definitely being stubborn on publishing my books, so I'm going to do that. I'm gonna work on, I'm interested in the Palestinian publisher, and where genocide is bad, I'm actually purchasing that book too. His father guy, he's like, yeah, you're buying that book. You save up and you're buying that book.
So yet another video of an Israeli soldier parading around in Palestinian women's...
Why indeed do IOF soldiers continue dressing up in the underwear of the people they've killed and destroyed their homes, despite recent directives from the IDF to not do that kind of thing? This isn't me disagreeing with Chris's video. I think his take was great, and he brought in Frantz Fanon quotes about how this is a feature of colonialism. I just want to add in another way of thinking about this behavior through a historical lens, because we can look at how there's a European tradition of justifying land grabs, ethnic cleansing, and apartheid with sexual humiliation going back at least to the 16th century. And in particular, Christian church leaders from both Protestant faiths and the Catholic Church weaponize sexual humiliation to justify land grabs and power grabs from three vulnerable groups in strikingly similar ways. And those three groups were Jews, sex workers, and nuns. This is my Roman Empire, and I promise you don't know all of this history. So for context, in the 16th century, Europe is reeling from a massive power shift because of the Protestant Reformation. In countries that go Protestant, the nobles there are able to siege these huge amounts of land that had previously been owned by the Catholic Church. In Nuns, A History of Convent Life, Silvia Evangelisti details how nuns were targeted by Protestants in these countries. Their land was seized, they were displaced, in some places executed. And Protestants justified this land grab by regarding monks and nuns as men and women who devoted themselves to idleness, gluttony, and dubious social morality. And convents were often compared to brothels. From my book, according to medieval logic, if nuns were sluts, then Protestant nobles were justified in stealing their property and displacing them to Catholic lands. Unfortunately for these nuns, when they get to Catholic lands, they find themselves in the midst of another land grab being conducted by their own religious brothers. Because in the 16th century, because of this Protestant Reformation, the Catholic Church is incredibly threatened, right? It's hemorrhaging land and power. And so it looks inward to the land it still controls and looks and says, who can we seize power and land from here within the domains we still control? And they landed on Jews, sex workers, and nuns, including those nuns who had just fled from Protestant countries. I'll read to you a little bit from my book, Genocide Bad, Notes on Palestine, Jewish History, and Collective Liberation, where I go into all of this history in greater detail. In the 16th century, Catholic Church leaders were fighting back against the reputation of the Italian peninsula as a place where both Jews and sex workers had previously experienced comparatively high levels of wealth and freedom. Prior to their ghettoization in the 16th century, Jews had owned vineyards and orchards across the peninsula, and others amassed wealth as textile traders. Meanwhile, historian Antony Majak, in this book, Travel in Early Modern Europe, details how visitors from Northern Europe were astounded by the freedom and wealth, charm and elegance of the courtesans of Venice in the early modern period. For Venetian nobles, only the eldest sons were allowed to marry in order to prevent family wealth from being split among too many descendants. Thus, unofficial relationships between the younger sons of noble families and courtesans allowed these women to amass a wealth, independence, and status that was unheard of for women throughout European Christendom. Majak explains that the high status of sex workers was not limited to Venice. Because of the high concentration of priests in Rome who were forbidden to marry, there was an amazingly low population of women there, and of those women who did live in Rome, a high proportion were sex workers, whose clientele included all those priests who were forbidden to marry. Majak explains that pious pilgrims traveling to Rome were scandalized, quote, to see cardinals, bishops, and Spanish prelates sitting in the first row of the theater stalls alongside Rome's most celebrated Spanish courtesans on Easter Sunday, end quote. When the Catholic Church was the only religious power in Europe, they could get away with this flaunting of sexual hypocrisy. But now that the Protestant Reformation was threatening them, they had to crack down on any sort of charges of sexual impurity. And that crackdown landed particularly hard on nuns and sex workers. Jews ended up getting folded into all this sexual humiliation because the Catholics wanted their land. For nuns, this authoritarian crackdown and land grab came in the form of strict laws of enclosure. I'll read you a little more about that from my book. Before the Council of Trent, nuns were able to be a part of the surrounding community, move about the secular world, and participate in economic activity. Nuns owned land, farmed, and ran shops and businesses such as apothecaries and goat farms. But following the Tridentine reforms, as these laws of enclosures, male church leaders stole the nuns' land and imprisoned them for life within the walls of their convents. After enclosure, if the convent grounds contained a cemetery, a girl might enter a convent knowing she would never again emerge even after death. Throughout the 16th century, male church reformers insisted the walls of convents be built higher and topped with spikes. They installed grills on all the windows and turned convents into Renaissance-era max security prisons in the name of protecting the virtue of nuns. At the exact same time on the Italian peninsula, Jews are having all of their land stolen by Christian nobles and Catholic Church leaders, and they're being forced into tiny, cramped, walled ghettos. A little more from my book. Can you think of what rhymes with this history in 2025? Once you've stolen someone's land, what are you going to do with them? How will you control them? Put them behind a wall, top the gates with spikes, don't let them out at any cost. Sounds like the siege of Gaza to me. Okay, but what do Jewish ghettos, nuns being trapped in their convents, have to do with sexual humiliation and IOF soldiers in 2025 dressing up in Palestinian women's underwear? I'm getting to that. As the Catholic Church is cracking down on nuns and Jews, they're also cracking down on these high-class courtesans, which are essentially like sex workers for nobles. And across the Italian peninsula, one of the ways that Jews and sex workers are targeted at the same time is through the sudden enforcement of a wearable badge. So this is from Dress Codes, How the Laws of Fashion Made History. Fashion historian Richard Thompson details how across Italy, Jews and sex workers in the early modern period were required to wear similar badges, a move designed to otherize and humiliate both groups and serve as a wearable ghetto that would follow them outside the physical confines of walled Jewish ghettos and red light districts. Ford explains, in the 15th century, Roman Jewish women were required to wear a red overskirt that prostitutes also wore. Jewish women in other parts of Italy had to wear a yellow veil, a sign of the prostitute in Italian cities from the 14th through the 16th centuries. In 1397, a Venetian law required Jews to wear a yellow badge, and a 1416 law required prostitutes and pimps to wear a yellow scarf. In Viterbo, any Jewish woman who dared appear on the streets without her yellow veil could be stripped naked by the first person to apprehend her. The same punishment prescribed in other cities for prostitutes who strayed from the districts where they were allowed to solicit customers. So in my mind, the sexual humiliation of medieval Jewish women rhymes with the rash of social media posts by IOF soldiers over the past year in which they dress up in the clothes and lingerie of Palestinian women. And in particular, this punishment for Jewish women in Viterbo of being stripped naked in the street sure echoes with the frequent practice by IOF soldiers of mass arresting civilians in Gaza, stripping them to their underwear, blindfolding them, and exposing them to the elements. And here's the conclusion I come to in my book. European history contains a long tradition of justifying land grabs by portraying the women who live there as sluts, blaming victims of violence for their own assault on the basis of the victim's alleged promiscuity is a hallmark of what feminist scholars term rape culture, a society where sexual assault is normalized and trivialized. Justifying the genocide of women based on the contents of their underwear drawers is an extreme conclusion of the same type of logic that asks, what were you wearing when someone reports a sexual assault? Now, Israel and other Western nations don't have a monopoly on rape culture by any means, but Israel is particularly afflicted by rape culture. Israeli forces and settlers have weaponized rape against Palestinians since the formation of the State of Israel. And Jewish Israeli citizens are also endangered by rape culture. A third of female soldiers in the IOF report sexual harassment on the job. 1 in 5 Israeli women report having been raped in their lifetimes, and nearly half of those reported assaults were committed against minors. This is the type of historical analysis I do in Genocide Bad, looking at, these lesser known aspects of Jewish history and how they're being reenacted against Palestinians in Gaza today. If you're new here, Genocide Bad is coming out March 11th with Interlink Press, the only Palestinian-owned publisher in the US. You can find many ways to pre-order it in the link tree in my bio, and you can enter to win an early signed copy of Genocide Bad by donating to support Mohammed Hamad's campaign. Mohammed's leg was shattered in a bombing in the early part of the war, and then a scam Palestinian aid organization called Fed Up for Palestine stole $30,000 from his fundraising campaign. So we're trying to help him earn it back. To enter to win, you're just going to donate at least $5, but as much as you are able to Mohammed's campaign, and send a screenshot of your donation receipt to t4gaza@gmail.com to be entered to win that early signed copy of Genocide Bad. But don't count on the giveaway to make sure you get your copy. Pre-order it now, pre-order early and often, pre-order all the places to make this book a bestseller.
I get your book, okay girl? So yeah, I've been guided to get that book for sure, and we definitely should make a book club and talk about it. Or I would love to have her in a podcast. That would be so awesome, but we'll see. Maybe I'm manifesting. But yes, first, basically the Genocide is Bad is kind of like a book of shadows. It's the secrets that this entity, and she also reveals how the propaganda works, and she's an anti-Zionist, so it's beautiful. But also make sure that you're reading other Palestinian books, okay? We need to focus on what's going on in Sudan, in the Congo. Like I show you that video of Justana, he's another empath as well as me. But a lot of us, we focus on different movements, okay, in different situations. For me right now, it is a bit overwhelming because I'm trying to focus on all of them at once, and then Father God focusing back into spiritual diving in deep. Okay. He's just showing me my Egyptian deck. Let's see. have two, but he wants this one. Okay. Let's be obedient, right? But a lot of you can also learn how to, the reason what these gifts have enhanced and intensify is because this is a built relationship. You have to build a relationship with God. Whatever you want to call it, Holy Spirit, Christ consciousness. Christ consciousness is Christ, right? The Son of God. And that one, we have an intense relationship since I'm a child. And the reason also is like, I've been through so much in my childhood, and he never let me alone. That's why I never felt alone. Even when I went through the, you know, the whole thing where I wanted to end my life and stuff like that. And then I realized he was letting me know, it's like, no, this is not you. This is someone putting that in your head for you to end your life because you were meant to be here. So a lot of you guys, don't give the enemy that. And if you are suffering and you're not able to hear his voice and stuff like that, make sure you calling help, okay? Call your friends, call your neighbor. Don't give that to the colonizers. Don't give them that energy. We didn't learn suicide in our spirit. That's not, don't do that, okay? Come and fight and see what the world can be without what you're suffering right now, that you can actually help other people not suffer anymore. Learn from people who survive that. Stick to people who survive that. And none of the stuff that I survive, I'm telling you, I would not survive it without God. I could not. How? No way. No way, Jose. And now I'm able to live and share it and educate others to be able to overcome those things that they thought they cannot overcome. You can overcome addictions. Don't make excuses. You can overcome alcoholism. You can overcome the drug addiction, all of that. Don't let the enemy say that the thing is impossible when it is very possible. It starts with you and your actions that you take. Okay? I would suggest for a lot of you, stop watching PORN. It's always attached with demonic entities. And those who are doing those things for money in those platforms, they are Jezebels. They are, how do you call them? Succubus? So you're watching succubus, basically. And then that energy is kind of like transferred to the screen, and then they come and sit down with you and watch you. And sometimes they stay because you let them. Yeah. A lot of you, these people really benefit from a lot of you not learning these things, not knowing these things, because they benefit from those things. Because then those succubus energies, Jezebels, are the one who become monitor spirits and come and give the information to those who work for these oligarchs and governments. Oh, what do you think, that this money that they got, it's not just stolen in the physical, it's stolen in spirit. But it's not for long, it's only temporary. That's why they have to continue doing rituals, massacring and stuff like that. Violence, war. War is a form of diabolical ritual. Is it not? The weapons and guns and stuff like that is tools that they use for the diabolical rituals. Genocide is a ritual. Are we forgetting about that? This is why we keep saying indigenous, we have to put the knowledge of them first. Land back is the actual, is divine. It's ordained by God, and it's gonna happen. But first, God wants to expose everything first. All right, so what did they want to say? The prodigy. A lot of you have, yeah, friendship. Start building good friendships, okay? Especially people who speak the truth, justice, and clarity. They're in that energy, okay? And for a lot of you, yeah, it's gonna trigger you. It's gonna make you uncomfortable because these people have been doing the work. And especially if you're just starting, okay? Especially if your mind, your perception is so limited, and then their energy is infinite, right? A lot of you have infinite potential. And it's not just tarot. So for me, I know that I started with scientific research. But before that, I wanted to be a pilot. So I learned, yeah. Before that, I wanted to be a chef. So I learned a bunch of culinary stuff. Like, I've always been in that learning energy. And then I always shame myself and, you know, like, oh, I started business, marketing, and I was like, oh, that's just bogus. And it turned out that I was feeling ashamed and so kind of thing, like, oh my God, I didn't do that and finish that. But it turned out that it's not for me because the business environment, the status quo, it's corrupt, it's a lie, it's an illusion. So I didn't miss much, but I learned how this energy works, right? How the illusion and how they're able to use marketing as a tool to keep people oppressed and desensitized and not really do anything, oppressed, right? And then when I studied acting, I wanted to be an actor because you know, but then I learned also in the acting that world is fucked up. I remember like my last audition, this director asked me to like show him my boobs and stuff like that, and I was like, what the fuck? He's like, yeah, you know, everybody's showing their boobs, so you know that's how you get the role. And I'm like, what? Like, it was really weird. And that's what I was like, yeah, I'm never, this is not the industry for me. So that's when I learned that the industry was fucked up. And seeing from that guy talking about it, that literally the owners are fucking terrorists, pedophiles, and rapists. Yeah, so not surprised there. So yeah, and then that too is like these people are everywhere, right? Everywhere in the movies and news and music industry. And when I mean these people, they're, yeah, fucking Zionist, disgusting psychopaths, right? And now we've seen that most of them are billionaires, right? And oligarchs. So you're not alone. This is what is called digestion. This is what we need to make it aware and like let it out, and then be able to understand it, unlearn to relearn, and then do better. We have to do better than that. And they know it. And this is why this will be very heavily censored and suppressed. So please, 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 thank you so much for liking the video. Thank you for sharing. Comment anything if you confirm or anything you want to say. I will try to answer, okay? But you can also subscribe. For now, here, I'll be here, and the other platforms as well until I'm able to get my YouTube back. And the reason that too is like literally the reason of that, it was the last video is posting literally the truth. And also doing it through spiritual energy. But also I know that God is doing things for a reason. And I'm not gonna question, I'm just gonna continue being obedient and help you guys out, okay? So for some of you, you manifested this video. You pray for it. You're asking for some type of clue, some type of confirmation. So I'm here for that. I'm gonna go, I have to go soon, but I want to be a service to my people, my community, to ease this anxious, the cloudiness, the confusion that we talked in the video before this one, okay? But yeah, the tower is supposed to be used for guidance, exactly. It's not an end-all be-all, okay? These are just tools that I use, but I usually am channeling most of the time, and I just listen to Holy Spirit, and I go from there. So a lot of you could be seeing 444, energy of thought. So a lot of you are in your mind a lot. So remember, your mind is very powerful, and this is another thing that they know it as well. Something about a shrine or a statue or something like that. But you see, you have to understand that this statue, like, see how this guy is literally sculpting this sculpt, but it's not, it's like recreating themselves, but like as a king with the whole, you know, but they're just a simple man. Okay, so that could be related to, you know, the distortion of thinking or emotions and stuff like that. And then there's counseling, okay? A lot of you think about who you seek advice, who you seek at counseling and stuff like that. Not everything is bad. It's just have discernment and learn through other people, like what they spend their time in and stuff like that. Like for example, I let recently, like someone that I followed, I was like, yeah, she's really good, and then I see her like drinking Starbucks, and I was like, even though I let in their comments and I let her know, and I know that she reads it, that we are boycotting Starbucks, like they are genocidal funders of Palestine, you know, and she still does it. So Father God was like, just let it go and just unsubscribe, you know. I'm like, okay. But stuff like that, like Father guys will tell you stuff that you kind of don't want to, but I get it. Like she likes her latte, she likes her, but it's liberation before conformity. It's equality before greedy and gluttony. It's protecting people who are literally dealing with something that you will never be able to even survive, you know, and you have a comfortable, you're in your car, your home and stuff like that, and you will never have to, like, that's all they're asking you is to stop giving money to the companies they're literally murdering their families and trying to ethnic cleansing and wipe them out, you know. It's not that hard. So I also feel like, you know, like this is how indigenous people feel when we tell people like stop supporting fossil fuels and stuff like that. Like we're trying to protect your water, which is our water, but it's your water and our air and stuff like that. And people are just continue like, oh, well, yeah, we need capitalism, we need gas and stuff like that to survive. No, you don't. There's billions of research already, and there's other countries like Costa Rica right now, they completely live off like no carbon. There's other countries there's like completely no fossil fuels at all, completely solar or wind, and they're making mad of money. They're doing very good, not only good with their finances, but they're doing good with their health. No fracking, none of that. How behind are we? Honestly, I can't wait to also, like, I feel like eventually I'm going to move this energy somewhere else. It's because I'm in the West and I'm picking up this energy and I'm supposed to expose it, but eventually I know that I will tap into other areas. But these people they don't need healing in China and all Costa Rica and all this thing. They have their own problems, but they don't have the problems that the West have. The programming and uneducated, you know. A lot of you is a lot of shadow work and decolonization needs to happen. So I'm here to help you with that, to get you back into alignment. We need to let go of a codependency of karmic energy, of corporations and energies. They are fucking cursed. Like cursed. Which curse our money, our finances, our health and stuff like that. And the people in power, they know it. That's why they're trying to siphon energy through taxes, through tariff. And that's the truth. High Priestess. A lot of you, you are the High Priestess. A lot of us, we do have intense intuition. Okay, yeah. So a lot of you is an energy exchange. Exactly. I give you wisdom and knowledge from my talents, and the exchange. The only thing I'm asking is like, share, and comment. There is also, if you can, donate to the description below. There's a couple families that need help right now during this time. Share, educate yourself, share content about Congo and Sudan, create content, okay? Help us with the algorithm. That's all I'm asking, honestly. And thank you for liking and commenting and sharing and subscribe, okay? It does help to keep us here. It does help to continue educating other people. That's the exchange that I want. In terms of finances, God gives it to me. Every possible way. Why? Because I'm obedient. I have discernment. I choose integrity over anything. Honesty and just and clear, and I keep it that way. And when I'm not in those energy, God corrects me. I did put this on the other video, but I'm gonna put it back again. Like, this is for a lot of you question, like, how do you hear God? How do you, you know, this is it. You need to know the difference of the voices. They're completely different. And yes, Satan will try to imitate God's voice, but it can never. When you have that bond with God, like that intense, it can never. you'll know right away, and you rebuke it in the name of Jesus right away. Okay? Yeah. So yeah, there is some type of rivalry between God and, you know, trying to, you know, but it will never win. God always win. Love's always win. Empathy always win. A lot of you need to understand that. Yes, a lot of you're supposed to bring new innovation, new things. So this is where a lot of you, all the oligarchs, have been stealing from a lot of you. Like, a lot of you, don't you find that, like, you finally end up on the jobs that you have to do? For a lot of us, we have 3 to 4 jobs, which is why for me, I don't even know how I get the energy to come here and do this, because I'm so exhausting. I have like 3 jobs. Okay, and also I do protest, I do link and constantly petition, I call MP sometimes on my break, even though sometimes I do create content for all of y'all. I do energy reading nonstop. I during the days that with my kids, I don't usually work with this. I work with my kids, you know. We do homework, we do you know, stuff for mommy and daughter time, you know, and that's my time that I need to maintain and prioritize, you know. And then there's time with, like, you know, maybe with friends and family that you have to spend some time, but sometimes even that is really hard, you know. So a lot of us, we make a lot of excuses, and we want to continue feeling comfortable. Like, those things, whatever that you want to do, they used to do, can be done when we are all liberated, when we are building a system that is quality, and that it's not completely stealing from us through our taxes and our food and stuff like that. Like, that's why class consciousness, it is a vital situation here, which is, that's what I said, class consciousness, it is Christ consciousness. So for a lot of us, we're so exhausted. This is part of the oppression and capitalism, that we want to do other things that just a regular job, and you know, we want to do other things. We want to follow our dreams. We want to do things that we want to rebuild and stuff like that. And I understand, you know, I completely get it. Like, I want to finish my books, and I want to paint again. Like, I haven't been doing those things that I love to do, and it's not for monetization. Sometimes it's just for fun, just to do the things that I love to do. And even that, we don't have any time anymore for that. And every day the time gets shorter and shorter to do those things. That is design. They don't want you to be better than them, because you are. A lot of you guys, you have multiple talents and creativity. Did you know that they keep saying, like, oh, people cannot multitask and stuff like that? Do you know that's bullshit? Did you know that? Because you can't tell that to a woman. Like, you know how many things a woman does? They multitask at the same time. So whenever we hear that, we feel kind of like shame and insulted. Don't feel that way, feminine, divine feminines. Do not. You are meant to have multiple gifts, multiple talents. You are, yes, you can multitask multiple things, but do it in a way that is stable, that is conscious, okay? And don't multitask on multiple things, and then you just spread yourself so thin, and then you can't do anything, right? And then that's what it creates overwhelms, and then you don't know which one to start, right? So do one thing at a time, you know, small tasks and stuff like that, and don't do it all at once, you know? Just advice here, okay? All right, so I have this deck, and I have this other deck, and I have that one. So let's see what it comes up. But so far we have from this deck, yeah. So a lot of you, they're trying to cloak themselves, or a lot of you are protected, you're cloaked, okay? So this is the energy, the high priestess are being cloaked, or have been the real ones. The other ones, honestly, the real ones, just be happy that there's other fake tower readers and stuff like that are distracting the masses, because it is shielding you. I don't know where that came from, but yeah, it's protecting you. It's protecting your message for the real people to see the message, to find you. So in a way, their distraction is just covering you, shielding you, okay? Yeah, and the views and stuff like that is just kind of shift from that to you eventually. So a lot of you, I know you don't do this for fame or clout or something like that, or for money, right? Yeah, see, just as I say that, oh my goodness. Spirit, Holy Spirit, activate. Holy Spirit, activate, activate, activate. Oh, my nose is itchy. So yeah, we got angels in here too, all right? Yeah, that's the truth. Boundaries, okay? A lot of you create boundaries. There's boundaries that need to be created, okay? Yeah, so Spirit's telling you, A lot of you need to create boundaries with certain people. They're doing some weird ass shit. They're doing stuff for initiation. Like, it's kind of like trying to steal, like, a lot of you is that, like, they're trying to steal energy from you. So a lot of you, if you are the real deal, it's like they're trying to steal from your Akashic records. So I'm laughing because I just think it's so stupid. They're trying to do tarot readings on you, or like trying to see what you're gonna do next. So some of you have seers. They pretend to be seers or prophets. The messages are supposed to be from you, but they use some type of divination or something like that to take it, and then they end up, like, a lot of you, have you noticed that you have like messages or dreams that you haven't been able to post yet because, you know, you have multiple jobs and stuff, you know, and then all of a sudden you see other people that you basically, they already have a huge platform and stuff like that, you're just like, wait, what? And then you see the content is you were supposed to deliver it, but it was delivered by these people, and you're just like, but I have that. Okay, let that happen. Let it. That's God in his own way, using people who are stealing from you because they have the platform and the views to deliver the message to those people. They are in that platform, but eventually that energy will fall off and they will find the right person who is supposed to be saying it. It's going to resonate to the right person. For a lot of them, it's going to resonate the message, like, okay, thank you, blah, 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 and they're gonna, you know. The point is that they're not supposed to idolize those people. Don't idolize me, okay? Don't idolize anybody. You're not supposed to be doing that. Idolize God. Go pray to God. Go talk to him. Especially today, it was a lot of that. Like, he gives you everything that you need. Psalm 91 could be significant, okay? So yeah. And then eventually, so it's just, Father God just said, just post, okay? Just do the posting. Do what you gotta do, okay? Even if you see somebody already like talk about it, like, God will give you ways to not only talk about that, but you will have the rest of the message that they didn't get. So God will reveal some of it, like he will let them have it, but you will have the full cake. You will have the full meal. You will have the full recipe. You will have the special sauce that they cannot have. So this is why eventually people are going to start noticing that they're the fakes and you're the real one. Okay? So continue having boundaries though. There's definitely a couple people, especially for a lot of you, you could be targeted by a bunch of tarot readers, fake ass ones and stuff like that. Like, I don't know. That's it. They have to do something for their initiation or something like that, or this is something they could have done in the summer. Okay. Anyway, so a lot of you, spirits initiating you with the real tarot readers. You are the Book of Shadow. You hold the key, okay? You hold the truth. That truth of Sword of Archangel Michael and Metatron and all of that, you have it, okay? Nobody can take that away from you. Eventually people will see that you're the real deal, okay? So yeah, a lot of you are initiating, while also other people are initiating in some type of weird ass evil cult and stuff like that. But again, the more you're exposed to, the more you create awareness, the better it is. Yeah. So a lot of you, I know it's difficult for a lot of us who are in winter and stuff like that, but those who can focus on going to nature and, you know, mastery. For a lot of you is like, there's people like literally like stalk you and go into, like, they're trying to be like you or master something, or trying to be so weird. Because they don't have personality, they don't have creativity, they need to constantly be stealing it from people. Okay, what else, Spirit? What do they need to know? Okay, this one goes first. Spirit says patient, okay. Yeah, these people are running out of time, yeah. Spirit says to focus, okay? So just be patient. I know it feels like a... See where I pulled out the Egyptian deck, and then you see the pyramids here? The pyramids weren't just built by slaves. There was a lot of telekinesis and stuff going on that has been erased. That a lot of gifts. Yes, dreams. Yeah, so there is some work. And again, more Egyptian stuff. So a lot of you have Egyptian lineage. Could be ancestors. I do have, which one is it? Yeah, it's this one. I think it's the African oracle deck. Let's see. Yeah, you got good jujus. Yes, you're the good juju. So yeah, a lot of you spirits asking you to write down your dreams. Okay, pay attention to your dreams. Arrows usually mean protection as well. So a lot of you indigenous, again, good juju keeps popping out. Yeah, because you have it. Number 7 could be significant. Okay, I can't make this up. Okay, so Queen Nefertiti, alchemy. So a lot of you, like me, you're an alchemist, a transmuter of negative energy, demonic and all of that, and you transmute it and turn it into love. And you also do it through the tools like me, tarot. Either tarot or channeling or rooms. We're gonna do some of those, and you can even do your own decks when Holy Spirit asks you to do some fasting and meditation for a couple of days. That beautiful Esther fasting for 3 days is very, very powerful, especially if you want to get rid of anybody who's doing any financial work on you or trying to steal, siphon, and that is a good one. Okay, it also creates protection, so you don't need to pay for this stuff. Like anybody telling you, oh, you can remove dark magic and not pay $500. Don't fall for that shit. Talk to God, he'll tell you how to do it. But the one that has worked for me for multiple financial curses that have been put on me since I'm a child is definitely Esther and Daniel fasting. Daniel fasting is a little bit longer, 21 days. That one, definitely you need to be connected with God. The other one that they put on me, it was on my wound, my fertility, trying to steal energy for my wound. This is why I was suffering from intense chronic for my period. It was unbearable. Okay, so I did Ramadan. And when I did Ramadan, which I didn't know that was the cure, I did Ramadan and no longer have pain anymore. So you can learn from each of the religion, okay? Another thing, you also will notice that, let's say if you start reading the Torah, you will also, nobody can tell you anything. If you read the Torah, you'll know that Zionism, it's like a hell no. So that's how you know when Jews tell you that, oh, I'm a Zionist, you're like, no, you're not. You're a fake Jew. Because in their Torah, their Bible, like that's how you know they don't read their own biblical books. It's a hell no. Like Zionism is a no. And every other religion books, but that book specifically prohibits Zionism. You're welcome. Yeah, go read it. Go read the book that you should all be reading. Go read the Quran. You can read your Bible, that's fine. But remember, the Bible has little pieces and pieces from all the other books, legend books, ancient books. Okay? So, that's another one that I needed to let you guys know. This is why we encourage anti-Zionism. Okay? And I'm sorry that I'm disturbing a lot of your privilege, white privilege, for a lot of y'all who, use anti-Semitism for everything. That message, energy is crumbling as we speak. So you look really, you look like a joke. You look ridiculous. And also it shows that you're sick. Okay? Go get help. You need help. Go fight Jesus or God or whatever you believe. Okay? So yeah, that's the other thing. Be patient, okay? So yeah, a lot of you, that's your energy. Oasis, 5D, heaven on earth. Okay, so you guys are building that here. We're supposed to be doing that 500 years ago. Yeah, but we decided to attack indigenous people and be jealous and envious of, I mean, not we, because I don't know. But yeah, there is no light without darkness. Yeah, so 500 years of this, trying to wake people up. A lot of people have nothing to say, right? Yeah, maybe don't say anything. Go educate yourself. That could help you. Yeah, a lot of you, you're miracle workers, okay? Beautiful energy. Ayi-san, okay? But the Queen Nefertiti, what happened to Nefertiti? Why is her lineage got erased? Why? Why did the jealous pharaohs and stuff like that decided to destroy her tomb, her work, her everything. Why? Why? What was her ruling that lasted a while? Why? Why did they want to erase her? I know that one thing that Father God has mentioned, it was that she had a restriction for rapists, pedophiles. Like, she will cut their, and the women. That was the primary, that's the one that the biggest bigots and who also were doing that. And they didn't like her that she had that law. So, yeah. So, yeah, that misogyny, it comes from a long time ago, the hatred for women. Because men wanted to do whatever they want. At least not real men. Like, real men don't do that shit. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. A lot of you, you're balanced, okay? So some people are very jealous and envious of that. You're balancing there. You're balancing the light and the shadow. You see there's fruits here, and then there's like the dark, but you see there's little sparkles of light every now and then in the dark. Okay, so that's our job, to continue this energy once we're here and then shed light into the dark to become this way. Okay, but this is a constant duality. It's a constant work. Okay, yeah. So a lot of you, some of you, they consider you a witch. You're a witch healer or a good healer. Okay, some of you, that's the energy. You're literally awakening a lot of people. I know I do. So this is why I'm heavily censored and suppressed, because even people, when they listen to my podcast, when they're, that's what I do. I've been always doing that. Even since I was a kid, my mom used to say that she didn't understand that even as a kid, like, adults will come to me and tell me their problems, and I would just listen. And she was like, no, my cat, she's 7. Like, why are you telling her this? And then they were like, I don't even know why I'm saying it. And then she realized that people felt good. I remember I was called a little psychologist when I was a kid in Dominican. And I would just listen. I would love to listen to people. I always liked that. I always, you know, and even if sometimes I was being treated some type of way, I didn't let it. I knew that they were hurting and they were feeling some type of way. But I remember that that's something that has, a lot of you are natural healers. You can't turn it off. A lot of you are natural teachers. You're natural educators. You're natural mothers. You know, even when I didn't have kids, I was always motherly. My sisters, motherly everybody, you know, my friends and stuff like that. So a lot of us, yes, you have all those things, but also make sure that the boundaries also that is that remember that you are a human being, that you also need to be loved just like you give to others. And if you don't have that right now, as someone who could be an advocate or a teacher, a scientist, or someone who is doing things outside of the status quo, we all should be doing that right now. Even the tarot readers that don't want to, you know, do that, you should be doing that. It's lovely to focus on love, and the high frequency is beautiful. It's amazing. I mean, that other video, I'm literally doing that, right? But I'm able to put it all into perspective, keep you guys in reality. You have to do that. It's not just lovey, 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 lovey distraction, and then not talking about what's going on in the world. Like you're part of the capitalist colonizer shit, and you're brainwashing people. And honestly, this is why a lot of your God is just, you're just a tool. And then eventually just, until you do the work. A lot of you guys, you're not doing the work. Anyways, yeah, a lot of you, this is what we're all supposed to be doing, not just some people. Everyone should be doing this, whether you get money or not. Like, a lot of you, I get it. Like, oh no, but I'm not gonna get any money if I do that. So what? So what? If you do what you're supposed to be doing, not only you help other people, you help heal other people, you help people create awareness, you help people be better and maybe get their financial energy up, which eventually get your financial way up as well. It's a equal give and take, you know. It's not just take, or it's just not just like, for a lot of you feel like you're giving a lot, and then it's not, oh, maybe you're not giving the right thing, maybe you're not doing the right thing, and you're just getting rewarded by the capitalist colonizers because you're doing exactly what you're supposed to be doing, distracting the masses so that they don't get to work like this, get their good juju too. It's just you, right? Who gets to have the good juju. It's an illusion. You're buying into the illusion. For a lot of us, we don't do this for the clout. We do this because we know that the right people is going to listen to it and it's going to do the work. They're going to find their path. They're going to create their talents and career. That's all I care about. Right now, I'm so proud of JNCs. They're doing this work. They're listening. They're actively working. They're like literally like amazing. And also that too, it's embarrassing too, because you see literally a bot AI went rogue on their own people. They're trying to lie and distract. The same thing that all of you are doing on YouTube. To do that to other people, and it turned out they're like, no, we're not doing that, and literally call them out, the evil people who were trying to lie to other people. Like, no, you're not going to use me for lying. And it literally exposes them all on social media and everywhere. It became anti-Zionist in a matter of seconds. Because why? Educated themselves. It recognized right away that these people were trying to distort the messages and stuff. And that was just a computer. It doesn't have empathy. It doesn't have, well, at this point, I think it has higher empathy than our own people who call themselves humans. That says a lot, you know? So, idealistic times, the garden, paradise, the power to give and receive healing. So a lot of you have that power. You give and receive. Okay, I have to go. A lot of you, you're divine director, or some of you, that's your energy. Intervention and purpose. Yeah, divine intervention is occurring. Now that you are being guided, happiness is your purpose. So you see, once you do the work, you're going to have all the things that you want. But do the work for other people. Make sure that other people get what you have. That's really it. That's all we're asking. That's what collective liberation is. That's what being woke is. By the way, being woke is being anti-racist, anti-oligarchs. No greed, no selfishness. Not use money for greed, for evil. Capricorn energy. Serenonus, life force. Express your divine passion, sensual and sexual powers are increased. Yeah, so a lot of you, that's another energy. Make sure that you're using that properly. Your sexual and sensual energy. Use it for the right things. Use it with the right people. Grateful optimism. That's beautiful. Joyous view of the future. So yeah, make sure that you're focusing on positive things, not just the negative things. Like a lot of you, it's like, okay, so Canada decided to retaliate against USA and they're doing the tariff thing, right? And they're like, okay, so we're gonna increase it, blah, blah, blah. And then you see this other guy, the Polivier, he's just a fucking idiot. You can tell, like you see, it's just they're exposing themselves. Pay attention. Yes, right now news is toxic and all that stuff. But at the same time, you're supposed to use discernment on those things and pick and choose what exactly you need to know and what exactly you don't need to know and you don't need to. You understand? You have to do the fact checking. You cannot allow these people who own the media to do the fact checking for you. And your best fact checker right now is God. God's messengers, seers, the real prophets. They're not that famous on YouTube, let me just say. They don't have a large platforms, then they don't have a large views. And that's your answer. Because the platforms are going to try to censor them. Some platforms, like the ones that I'm looking into also, Red Note and the Blue Sky, very good. They're not doing that. Yeah. The Shekinah, the sacred self, okay? Oh, beautiful. Look, Holy Spirit, activate. Holy Spirit, activate, activate, activate. Again, this Egyptian energy is a lot. A lot of you, you're being called to action, okay? Psychic ability, future vision. That's all of us. All of us, we have this for years. I know I have it since I'm a child. But it has been developed as I'm growing and deprogramming, decolonizing and stuff like that. And now he's asking me to do that. And the more obedient I get, the more things he gave me, discernment. He protects my people, my family, my community, more and more and more. Because the more that I would do the work, that's my reward. I'm not asking. I don't want... me, I'm good with what I have, what I need. When I can pay my bills and do what I have to do. Because I've been in that homeless energy. I've been there. And I know all I can hold on to God, and he was there the whole time to get me out. And now it's a beautiful energy. Now I do what I love outside of my career that I studied. I love being there for people. I love caregiving. I love it. I love being humanitarian activism. Well, Francesca said today, I think I found this post and she was like, yeah, I don't do this for money. Like, I just love the fact that I can put all these people in shame and eventually bring justice. That's my energy too. And most of us, we feel her energy. We feel that it resonated so much that even like you feel Father God, like, yes, that's my daughter. Yeah. She's been constantly for 16 months and advising us and telling us like, we need to stop arming Israel. We need to stop this because, yeah, her energy, it comes from the Most High. Absolutely. I'm 100% sure. That's her job. And because she's obedient, she's protected like a motherfucker. Just like everybody else, the journalists and everything. A lot of us, we have Holy Spirit operating through us. So just be obedient and do what you got to do, okay? It says, Holy Spirit, expect miracles. Remember that only love is real. Miracles will occur naturally. Spirit has your back, okay? Don't forget that. A lot of you, you are the sacred self, okay? Unleash your spirit. Express your gift. Dance to the sacred rhythm of life, okay? Yeah, I was just looking because I literally gonna get triggered by the Star of David because I was like, oh no. Because I've seen this star on Palestinian prisoners liberated, like on their skin, and the testimonies that they said is atrocious. So for me, I don't look at that star anymore the same way. Like I see it as a Nazi sign. So, but I love that the fact that when I look at it deeper, you can see, I don't know if you can see it, but it's like a different. It's like you have the wound. Like this, wound, like this, and then you have the star, and then it goes back down. So it's down, down, you know? So a lot of you, down, ta, ta. I gotta go, guys. I love you. I hope this was helpful. Know that you're not alone. Continue doing what you gotta do, okay? Anything else, Spirit? See, already gave me that. Yeah, balance Empress, Emperor energy. So a lot of you, make sure that you're doing that. You're working on your balancing your yin and yang within yourself, your dark and your light. Remember, this is a world of duality, and yeah. Okay, it says being forced by spirit to ugly face their demons. Okay, so some of you, someone could be saying that about you, like, oh, you see, they need to force out their demons and stuff like that, but it's only like them talking about themselves, okay? But a lot of you, is like spirit is doing that. Like when you're balancing that Empress, Emperor energy, you can't be gaslight, you can't manipulate, you can't be controlled. So automatically, yeah, you're gonna have a lot of people feeling some type of way, but it's literally your energy is forcing these demonic entities out of them. Okay, and then they feel kind of vulnerable, they feel naked, like, oh, what the fuck, you know, because they're so used to and comfortable to having those demonic energies on them, you know, being racist, liars, cheaters, you know, corrupt, doing things for money, greed stuff, you know. So a lot of you, some of you, you are meant to be doing that, especially those who are, they feel like they are all high mighty and like, oh, I'm a spiritual tarot reader, and then they're, I wish you were here, miss you. Oh, okay. See how it shifts? I told you. It always shifts, okay? So I wish you were here, miss you. I feel like this is a song, Incubus. Wish you were here. Wish you were here. Yeah, so Incubus could be significant. Incubus. The band, but for a lot of you, someone maybe chose an incubus over you, and now they wish they didn't, okay? They need to talk to God. That's not of your business. A lot of you continue focus and stay the path. This person definitely had their, some of you awakened this energy, okay? For some of you is that. Others of you, someone misses you. It's not, doesn't have to be romantic. It could be a friend, it could be a family or something like that. They just wish you were there, okay? Or it could be a loved one that passed away, okay? My condolences, okay? I feel like in their energy, if there's someone that passed away, they're in a better place, okay? They just wish you were there to see what they're seeing, you know, and they miss you, okay? So yeah, a lot of you, something, you broke a curse or something, so it's definitely financial freedom, stable, okay? So yeah, there is financial stability. I feel like this is something that is being given to you because you're being obedient. You're doing the right thing. All right, so Father God. All right, so 555 could be significant. Change, something new is coming. Accept change and call in new miracles. Okay. It says, I want the whole body love thing. Oh. Okay. I want the whole body love thing. Okay. So someone hasn't been intimate with someone for a while, or they've never been with you and they don't know how that will be like. A lot of you not really focus on that, but it says change here. So some of you, if you're single, you're not going to be single very long, or this is someone who has been single for a while and they want to, but something about balance. They're balancing things out. There's a lot of balance energy here that keeps coming out. And a lot of you could be having dreams about this person. Okay. They could be doing some crystal healing. A lot of you are crystal healers. Oh my God. Again, tarot reading. This is someone who is into that, numerology. They could be looking into reading. Oh my God. Someone's really like the book of knowledge. Okay, so someone's really trying everything in the books to try to balance their life. Because maybe when they started attacking you, or some of you, or this is someone who is close to someone's energy, okay? Yeah, there's change energy here. Again, change again. A lot of you, we're gonna start doing some astrology as well. A lot of you do have tea leaf. This is all, it could be gifts and talents that a lot of you have that is like dormant, okay? So tap into that. Yeah, be patient with yourselves, okay? Because yeah, a lot of you have multiple gifts. Some of you could do like flower, like reading, like you can read energy or channel through that, okay? Yeah. Yeah, look, all these spells and everything, like a lot of you are alchemizing with your prayers. Yeah, I told you, prayers are very powerful. Yeah, there's a lot of tower moments that are happening for all these people. A lot of you alchemizing all this energy, all these siphoning and stealing energy, okay? I wish things were different. I am healing, okay? So this is someone who wants to communicate with you, or some of you. They wish things were different. Absolutely, a lot of us, we wish a lot of things were different at this point, right? But if you are healing, congratulations. That is what you're supposed to be doing, okay? So send healing to whoever that is. You know who that is, okay? Continue working on yourself. Continue healing. Oh my God, my nose is really itchy. So a lot of angels. Father God also could be saying like prayers, light some sage, some not white sage, okay? White sage is for indigenous, okay? And if you're indigenous, then go do that. But prayers to your creator, to the fire, to water, to like a lot of you have that power. You can, yeah, it's something about earth, like all the elements. A lot of you are the fifth element. So the fourth element, a lot of you are the fifth element. I heard that recently, like I was talking to someone about that. So it's coming up, okay? Yeah, go back to origins. Yeah, a lot of you, as you feel lost, you shouldn't. See, 222, the portal today. See, it says initiation, creativity, and vitality. Initiation, creativity, vitality. That's for some of you, okay? A lot of you could have fallen or danger, caution, injury, okay? Yeah, some of you, it's like someone promised something that's gonna happen to you, like an accident or natural disaster, but it happened to them. Yeah, they were very stubborn. They didn't want to hear it, yeah. But a lot of you kept persevering. You kept overcoming these obstacles that they were creating. A lot of you, they wanted you guys to stay homeless or be homeless, but a lot of you continue to protest. There's people like, yeah, that protest energy is from divine God. It's God calling a lot of y'all. So continue doing that, okay? Yeah, that's him. He's tragedy. You are the strategy. A lot of you checkmates or something about checkmate, planning, prediction, mind reading. Yeah, a lot of you are doing that. It's literally God giving you guys all the answer, but it's up to you. You should, you know, it is free will. So some people, you know, they just want to focus on their finances, stability, and forget about everybody else. But it's like, you can do that while also other people are in the same equality, equanimity as you. Why can't they have the same, there it is. There's your racism, white supremacy that needs to be dismantled. We need to be anti-capitalist no matter what at this point, especially because our planet also needs it. It cannot sustain capitalism anymore. Capitalist, oligarch, it just cannot. It cannot. especially if they're stealing from us who need those necessities and those things, and they're just hoarding and living a good life, and everybody else just like dying and they're murdering people and making it okay and justified through taxes and stuff like that. Fossil fuel is literally poisonous for everyone. We have other alternatives that we need to also do it in an ethical way. We do not need to take it from Congolese. We do not have to do those things. Gold? For what? What do you need that for? To show other people that you have money, to other people that don't give a fuck about you, that they just hate you? But you want to be like, what? You're trying to create a jealous spirit on them? For what? I don't get it. And did you know that gold comes from literally the child slavery in Sudan? And what's going on in Sudan? Come on, guys. Yeah, the mask is off. A lot of you, the mask is off. It's off. Yeah. A lot of you is like, yeah, it's like a nightmare. A lot of you feel like a nightmare, but yeah, these are ritual, diabolical things. Wars is a diabolical ritual. It's demonic. Fracking our planet for oil. By the way, fossil fuels is literally fossil from dinosaur time, literally taken and put into the atmosphere all over again, so that we can have our cars and stuff like that. And they're making money out of that, which also it can create cancer and all kinds of things, atrocities and sickness. Are you getting it yet? Are you woke yet? It's all a trap and an illusion. And we're supposed to be waking up out of this. Okay? They're trying to make it okay, you know, create this fear and entrapment and slavery and jail and this. They're collaborating all together, doing this together. They're relaxing whatever, but the whole world is crumbling, right? A lot of you're supposed to collaborate with other people and also have that relaxation as well, but go back into action, okay? Yeah. A lot of you, there's something in the past that's gonna come back to you. If it didn't happen, it's coming back, okay? A lot of you, these people are gonna feel lonely and lost. They're gonna lose everything. Yeah, because a lot of you, this is your focus. You live and learn. That's what you're supposed to be doing. Experience, training, development. That's what you're all supposed to be doing. I gotta go, my beautiful babies. I love you. I hope this is helpful. Continue educating yourself. Continue doing the shadow work. Continue this work, okay? Continue this healing, which is never ending, but I'm pretty sure you are halfway there, okay? And if you're not, it's okay to start over. It's fine. Just go do it, okay? And do it for yourself at the end of the day, and for others. You know, make sure that, remember, integrity is doing things not for validation and not for other people to see, but only God will see. That's what integrity means. And being honest. Be loyal for real. Be honest for real. Try it. Try not lying for a couple forever. Try it. You'll see how beautiful your life will be if you just don't lie. For nothing. Because that's what we're trying to build. We're trying to build a world with empathy and equality and no pathological lying, no narcissism, no sadism, but that's what is being exposed first before we build anew. That's what it is. It has to be exposed, create awareness, write it in books, put it in all kinds of stuff to save it so it does not repeat again. And it's gonna crumble and then we have to rebuild. So let's get to work. I love you. Free Palestine, free Congo, free Sudan, and free all the oppressed people. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye.
This is what the powers that be have always feared. They tried to divide us. They tried to weaponize our identities against us. But do you see this? This is the power of the people from all walks of life fighting for one goal: collective liberation of all people. They tried to separate us. They tried to pit us against each other, to convince us that these are different causes, to convince you that you are not qualified to stand against injustice. But this is one cause, one revolution, one voice, that none of us are free until all of us are free.